Hi everyone, this is Anna and welcome back to Anna's Take with the Twist. I know it's been a while, sorry about that. Today we're going to talk about three things. The first is the book called San Fransicko. The second is the Stay in LA campaign. And the third, the last thing, is why I don't think the Stay in LA campaign is actually going to work. I know. So before I get into this video, I just want to say a couple of things about my last video. I filmed that video from home because I was feeling a little bit under the weather and I really just couldn't risk getting sick. I knew I was booked for several days in a row to work outside, exterior, in January 2025 in Canada. So I was a little bit nervous. Once again, I didn't want to get sick. Plus, that production is known for its very long hours. It's also known for very early start times, call times. So let's just put it this way. There was one day I left my house at 1:30 a.m. Throw in the fact that there's super long commutes. That's one of the reasons I had to leave at 1:30 a.m. So sometimes the commute, well, for that production, for those days, the commute for me was just over 2 hours each way every day. So yeah, I just didn't want to risk getting sick. That's why I filmed from home. And I will say that I was not sick before I started working. However, I was not feeling myself for quite some time for a variety of reasons. And let's just say background, being a background performer is not easy. So in my last video, I said that I really wanted to see a movie and I couldn't seem to get to see the movie because it was playing in a movie theater that was really far from my house. It was a 40-minute walk. I've done it before. However, I just really couldn't seem to fit the movie into my schedule. They changed the time for the movie a lot of times rather drastically. So if they change the time for the movie by say like 5, 10, even 20 minutes, I could work that into my schedule. But this time that I thought I could fit it in, they changed the schedule. They changed the schedule by over an hour. So it just didn't work. So I just gave up. I threw my hands in the air. And then after that, I just went out and bought the book titled San Fransicko, and the subtitle is Why Progressives Ruin Cities, and the book is by Michael Shellenberger. I personally love this book. So I first heard about this book when I was listening to a YouTube video. Michael Shellenberger was being interviewed in late October of late 2021. I really liked what I heard in the YouTube video. Michael Shellenberger made a lot of great points in the video that prompted me to stop the video immediately. And I went and I called the library to see if I could actually borrow the book. So the Toronto Public Library in 2021 did not have any physical copies of the book, which I'm not understanding. And they still don't, which I still don't really understand. However, if you want, you can get the ebook or you can get the audiobook. So since my daughter is very generous and lets me use her Audible account, I downloaded the audiobook right away, listened to it right away, and I loved everything that I heard. So I would like to say that I was always going to buy the physical book because the book is fantastic. However, it was the something that I heard on another YouTube video that was kind of like referring to the fires in California. And the fact that, once again, I couldn't get and see that movie, that really prompted me to get the physical book. So if you want to get the book, there will be a link below. And of course, I do get a little bit of money from that. So full disclosure. So the reason I love the book so much is for a variety of reasons. One is the fact that the information in this book is timeless. It has fantastic history of California, how it's gone through like different levels of government, how different countries have handled homelessness and drug use, and they're addicts at the same time. It does like a nice, interesting comparison for the different cities in the United States. And once again, I live in downtown Toronto, so even though I can walk to 3 movie theaters in 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I can actually walk to 3 overdose prevention sites in less than 15 minutes. Maybe 15 minutes if I stop for all the lights, but I usually don't. Anyway, I know, right? So that's saying a lot. So for anyone who thought I was some frail, stale, pale female, I am not. I am a well-seasoned Torontonian. I was born in Toronto, and trust me, I see a lot. See a lot of homeless people. I see a lot of people who are on drugs, drug addicts, and drug users. So it was just very interesting for me to learn how different areas of the world are handling the problems that plague most cities. So San Fransicko, Why Progressives Ruin Cities, in my opinion, clearly explains why nothing gets done and why a lot of times a lot of things just get worse. So here's something from page 30 as to why homelessness in San Francisco just keeps getting worse. Housing first is a dogmatic philosophy, said Bales. I've lost friends. One of my closest friends is attacking me for pushing housing that cost $11,000 instead of $527,000 per person. He can't get that we can't provide a $527,000 to $700,000 apartment for each person on the street. I've been in planning meetings where people have said everyone deserves a granite countertop, but that isn't going to work for 44,000 homeless people or 44,000 people. So that's one example. And so here's something from page 118. It's a little bit different. So it said, this is interesting. So let's say someone defecates 10 times on a sidewalk, is finally arrested, and then brought to the courts. Would you favor a situation where the person would have the option of getting psychiatric care as an alternative to prison or jail? So the individual responding is Susan Misner. And she says, I would favor the option of them not being arrested in the first place. That whole scenario is problematic. So here's Michael Shellenberger. So what do we do about people with psychosis who defecate in public, who shoot drugs in public? Should they be treated any differently than someone who is not showing signs of mental illness? And then that was on page 118, and there continues on. And so on page 119, there's a legal term which is mens rea. And it is Latin for the guilty mind, and it refers to a person's awareness that what he's doing is wrong and illegal. That standard is usually that a person knows or should know that what they're doing is illegal. Then they go on, to use a couple of different examples. So I just found this book to be very interesting. Really opened my mind to how things work or why they don't work. So, honestly, I just can't make this up. I can't make this up. Neither did Michael Shellenberger or the people that he interviewed in this book. So Richard Rhodes, who is the Pulitzer Prize-winning author of The Making of the Atomic Bomb, says, San Fransicko is outstanding. Michael Shellenberger pries loose the truth about homelessness and housing in America in this myth-shattering book and proposes tested, humane alternatives that work. And you know what? I agree. San Fransicko is outstanding. I absolutely love this book. I'm not going to say it's for everybody because it's not. However, I will say that it really did change the way that I think, and I have a better understanding. So with that, I will say that once again, you can purchase the book. I'll leave the link below. And if you're wondering how this book relates to Stay in LA, stay with me. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Stay in LA campaign is to encourage a 3-year commitment from studios and streamers to increase their production in Hollywood and LA County by 10%. Stay in LA is also campaigning to uncap the tax incentives for productions that shoot in LA County for the next 3 years as part of the overall disaster relief effort. So uncapping that tax incentive would be up to Governor Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, and Los Angeles City Council. So film production in Hollywood, LA County, and California as a whole has decreased over the years. Film LA, which is a not-for-profit agency, states that 2024 was the second slowest year on record in LA County. The slowest year was, of course, 2020 when we had the pandemic. So the slowest year on record was 2020, but we had the coronavirus then. The whole world was closed down for the pandemic. So 2024 was worse than 2023. In 2023, they had the writer's strike that started on May 1st. That went on until, the end of July, beginning of August. Then, of course, there was the actor strike that started in mid-July of 2023. So film everywhere in the whole entire world was basically shut down for like 6 months. And they're saying that 2023 was better than 2024 when there weren't any strikes. Wow, 2024 must have been like a really, really bad year for Hollywood, LA County, and California as a whole. So a reason for production being so low in 2024 is because California is not film friendly anymore. States like Atlanta, Nevada, New Mexico, and of course Texas are. And then of course there is what I call the rest of the world. Everyone's film friendly except for California. So the primary reason Stay in LA wants to bring production back to Hollywood, LA County, and California as a whole is because of the wildfires, which is what kickstarted Stay in LA campaign in January of 2025. Since so many people have lost their homes, their businesses, their livelihoods, or in some cases, all of the above, a lot of people fear that if something isn't done, people are going to leave California, or they're going to change careers, whether they leave California or not. And that's the problem. This is especially true for people who are in the film industry, which is exactly why the Stay in LA campaign started to begin with. So people who work behind the camera, like the camera operators, gaffers, grips, special effects people, all the other people that we don't see, like the hair, the makeup, and of course the costumes, better known as wardrobe, those people are leaving California. Large companies like Tesla, X, Hewlett-Packard, Pabst, Blue Ribbon, the beer company, and more have been leaving California since 2020. And those companies are taking some of their employees with them. So in the last few years, California has lost over $2.1 billion from income tax earners. But California has gained non-tax filers. So just so everyone understands, people who had jobs and were paying taxes on the money they earned and paying taxes on the services and goods that they used and purchased have left California. But then you have more people entering California who do not pay taxes, do not have jobs they're paying taxes on, so if they're working under the table, or doing something else, which I'm not even going to get into, and they're using services that they're not paying taxes on, that are being provided by the taxpayers. There's a bit of a problem there. Look, California is the 5th largest economy in the whole entire world. It has been for quite some time, since like 2017, 2018. It has a lot of money, but you know what? California is a bit of a ticking time bomb. Like, let's just forget about the natural disasters. Let's just forget about, everything else. It's getting a lot worse. If we think about it in terms of the first 45 days of 2025, California has had her historic wildfires. They've also had torrential rain. And of course, they've had mudslides, which have just been a combination of the torrential rain, which was an act of God, and of course the wildfires, which some people say some of them could have been avoided. We just don't know. I mean, I really don't understand how Stay in LA is actually going to work. I hope that it does help a lot of people. I just really can't see it. So if insurance companies couldn't risk staying in California because of the natural disasters, and large companies like the ones I mentioned earlier and others are leaving California, partly due to the high taxes, let's not forget about the stores that have left and continue to leave due to the high levels of crime, coupled with people who are just leaving because everything is just so incredibly expensive. Again, I just really can't see how staying in LA campaign is going to work. I just can't see it. The number of people who have signed the petition, part of the Stay in LA campaign, is growing. However, even those people aren't working in LA. Those people are working in different parts of the world. Again. So I hope that the Stay in LA campaign is going to help people, but once again, I really don't think that it will. So my next video, which I've started working on, is Mickey 17. It's the movie by Bong Joon-ho. The main actor is Robert Pattinson. They had their world premiere on Thursday, February 13th, and the world premiere was in London, England, because that's where it was filmed. It was filmed at the Warner Brothers studio in London, England, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm dying to see the movie. I know, pun fully intended. The movie is based on the book called Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. So I'm rereading the book right now. If you want to purchase the book, there's going to be a link below. Once again, I do get a little bit of money from that. Be your way of supporting the channel. If in case you don't want to, I totally understand. But we're really looking forward to that next video. And yeah, thanks again for watching Anna's Take with the Twist. If you like the video, please hit the like button, like the video. At the same time, you can always leave a comment, and of course you can always subscribe. I hope to see you again, and thanks again for watching Anna's Take with the Twist, and that's a wrap.